This is Eswatini TV News at 10. I am Natalisi Tole alongside Namaklabisan Kambule. First up, here's a look at our headlining stories. Prime Minister Russell Dlamini encourages police officers to work with integrity. Minister of ICT Savannah Mazia today took a tour of the Eswatini Broadcasting and Information Services. Over 10 billion emalangeni has been disbursed by FinCorp to small and medium enterprises, says its establishment. Good evening and thank you for joining us. His Excellency the Prime Minister Russell Dlamini has encouraged police officers to work with integrity and work for the country and avoid egos. The Prime Minister was speaking at the Police Academy in Matsapa on Wednesday during the annual conference for senior police officers.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister Russell Dlamini says he believes that police officers must always work with integrity and loyalty at all times, and they must have it in mind that they serve the nation at all times. He says those letting down the police force must be dealt with.
Integrity bekunene kwethembeka. Icala la msebenzi ukuthi wethembeke na wenda umsebenzi. Nineke nabakithi live lonke liyasibuka ukuthi singemaphoyisa sinayo integrity. Siyayenza indlela excellence sithembekile yini. Kuyadingeka ke National Commissioner ne-commanding team yakho wokuthi kwateke nje vele ukuthi ngibani leliphoyisa leli lisida ngibani leliphoyisa leli attendako mina nangikhuluma neliphoyisa nje nale ngi-attenda ngingaze ngiyobuta ukuthi ngibani lolo longisida so that we can easily identify amaphoyisa lasendela phansi.
The acting National Commissioner of Police, Lydia Dlamini, says they are faced with a number of challenges, including shortage of transport, lack of equipment to execute daily duties, and no houses for officers, but they still work hard to ensure then they align themselves with government policies.
Our vision as a service is to extol the virtues of excellence and professionalism, which are one of the guiding ethos of the new government in its quest to deliver service to Eswatini in an efficient manner. Our meeting here today is to discuss how that excellence can be infused in all our operating mechanisms and systems so that we are able to be an organization that truly delivers policing services in a manner that meets His Majesty's government and the nation's expectations.
The crime rate increased in 2023 compared to 2022. The Prime Minister promised that new vehicles will be bought for the police force and asked that they be taken care of. He also promised that houses for officers will be renovated and constructed. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian MCB at the Police Academy in Matsapa.
His Excellency the Prime Minister Russell Dlamini says corruption is one of top government priorities as per the request of the nation during the People's Parliament. The Prime Minister says corruption must not even be mentioned among police officers.
During the People's Parliament, the people spoke strongly on corruption. His Excellency the Right Honourable Prime Minister Russell Dlamini says it is one of government's top priorities to fight corruption in the country. As such, it must not be mentioned amongst police officers.
Ayingabi khona le corruption evele. Kodwa ingabi khona nalakini. Ngoba icala lapho le corruption. Lokunye lokubulala i-motivation National Commissioner ukuthi kube nebantu laba promotekako bangathi ukuthi ba promoteka kanjani. Uyafika njena so uyaqanza nje uyaqanza hawu uyasishiya thina labanye lokho kusho ukuthi ke bese sekuthi ungiphocelela ukuthi ngingendisisi ngingadimisele siyacela ke ukuthi ema promotions National Commissioner akabe transparent akavele nje aba transparent angabi based kakhulu ekutheni watibani but akabe nje kokuthi wendeni ungendani based on your qualification. sikhulumile nebaholi bawo umbutho wemvukwe ukuthi asithole indlela yokunyusa kwati emaphoyiseni ne-exposure kwekuthi chaphela akungapho kuhamba abantu bani uphumela ngelivi ngaphandle kwale live nekuyofunza nekuyobona thini akwenteke nje ukuthi sathi ukuthi lamhla kuhambe lo kusasa kuhamba la ngaphandle kwema responsibilities yathi ukuthi kunetigaba ukuthi la kuletigaba lethi kuhamba baba kepha ke kukhona la we opportunity for growth akahambe phela nalamanye ama officers atathi nakafika lapha abese art abenawo sa exposed.
The Prime Minister then launched the REPS policy, which will inform the public on police activities. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian Msibi at the Police Academy in Matsapa.
The Prime Minister, His Excellency Russell Dlamini, has encouraged state-owned enterprises to align their strategies with Sibaya submissions, which include service delivery, support for business startup for youth and job creation. The Prime Minister was addressing chairpersons and chief executive officers of state-owned enterprises at ERS headquarters in Eswatini.
The government of the Kingdom of Eswatini has 48 state-owned enterprises that have got CEOs and boards. Today, the Prime Minister, His Excellency Russell Dlamini, met with the chairpersons and the CEOs of these state enterprises. Speaking on behalf of the state-owned enterprises CEOs, Dumsana Msibi encouraged government to reform their legislations since some of their policies are outdated.
We remain at the full disposal of government to diligently discharge our respective roles in the socio-economic development of the country.
Muzi Dlamini, who was representing the chairpersons of the different boards, assured the Prime Minister that they are aware of their responsibility and mandate.
Central to the responsibility upon the public enterprises largely is the delivery of much needed services to the larger populace of our country.
The Prime Minister says government is facing fiscal challenges and the SOEs should ensure that they are sustainable. The Premier says government will lead economic development through the state-owned entities.
Every time my colleagues like you leave the office, I tend to wonder how we think that we can continuously ask government to subvent entities that should actually be making profit. That government should continuously subvent even if we don't deliver anything. And we are even bold to come late and to ask for more salaries. So this indicates that we need some introspection. We need to reflect more. I noticed that we have created a serious problem of inequality. Executives are paid exorbitantly. They are paid exorbitant salaries, while junior staff are paid very little. With every measure and every increment that is allocated, the gap, the inequality increases.
Some of the CEOs who made interventions during the meeting put it explicitly clear that despite all SOEs being owned by government, but collaboration is so difficult. In August last year, the World Bank, when delivering the Eswatini economic update, made recommendations to government. One was for government to review the legal framework of the SOEs and also to strengthen their oversight and governance. For Eswatini TV News, I am Lincoln Kule, Eswatini.
The Honourable Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Savannah Maziya, says digitization of the country's broadcasting system is key to the development of the country. The minister was speaking during a tour of the Eswatini Broadcasting and Information Services.
The Honorable Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Savannah Mazia, told the Eswatini Broadcasting and Information Services, EBIS, where EBIS Senior Engineer Siboniso Vilagati briefed the Honorable Minister about the newly established Advanced Studios.
Inside the studio, in the past, it was hard to monitor what is happening off air, Emakai. But now we can monitor it here. When she's here, she can see what's happening transmitter.
The Honorable Minister, when meeting the EBI staff, said digitization of broadcasting is a very important component of advanced technology.
Part of the strategy of ICT is to digitize and get government to be fully digitized. Now, you play an important role in that. You are already highly digitized. And when I look at your studios, they're so wonderful. But how do we educate the nation when the government has become digitized, or as we become a digital nation? You are so critical in that journey to be able to inform those in the rural areas, the youth, commerce, and every stakeholder on how we're going to work as government going forward. If as ICT, our strategy is actually adopted, we really are going to change how government works so that government comes closer to the people as opposed to the people going to government. And so this is going to be a game changer if we're all able to work together.
The Honorable Minister also said the use of technology is not only mandated to the government, but every Eswati and development partners. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkal Suekoza, Babane.
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Mandla Chauke, says agriculture is critical in addressing food security. The minister was speaking during a handover ceremony of a fruit tree production project from the government of the Republic of China on Taiwan.
The Emerging Food Tree Production, Market and Capacity Building Project has established value chain for banana, papaya, pitaya and guava. Taiwan Ambassador to Eswatini Jeremy Liang presented the project to the Minister of Agriculture.
A revolving fund of 3 million Marangeni from the sales of fruit seedlings and fruits, assets and equipment worth 4.3 million Marangeni, including 3 vehicles, tissue culture lab equipment, and net houses, to the Ministry of Agriculture. In addition, there are currently 100,000 banana seedlings in the net room, which are worth about 1.5 million Marangeni, with a total value of 8.8 million Marangeni. We are transferring all equipment and funds to the Ministry of Agriculture.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Mandla Chauke, accepted the project on behalf of the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini.
The mandate of the current government is clear, as given by Emakosi and the people at the recent SBIA. This mandate is to make sure that we stop hunger and poverty in the shortest time possible. Ngesiswati sithi asithi ngwe siqedze busweti nendlala even ngwenyama. Agriculture, as the ambassador is also alluded, is at the center of this mandate, and it forms a significant sector of the economy. In any case, a country that can't feed itself risks losing its sovereignty. It is imperative, therefore, that we develop and implement pragmatic strategies that will move the sector forward. The ministry is completing and intends to implement with vigor and follow through a strategic plan that will take the sector on an upward trajectory. This plan will feed into the government's grand plan, which will be the ultimate product of SBIA as commanded by His Majesty.
The Honorable Minister also launched the third phase of the project, which will run for 3 years. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkal Suekoza, Malkens.
The Minister of Education, Honourable Owen Nxumalo, has announced the Board of Directors for the Exams Council of Eswatini. The board will be chaired by Dr. Sipho Shongwe.
The Minister of Education, Honourable Owen Nxumalo, has announced the new Board of Directors for the Exams Council of Eswatini. The council will ensure on the smooth working and operations of the Exams Council of Eswatini.
chairman ke wethu utaba Dr. SS Shome yena ke chairman utaba khona bese ke kuba na director waka education akekho la naye utawungena kule board bese ke kule board itaphinde kube na PS waka finance bese kuphinde futhi sithola ne representative yaka AG bese ke sithola ke loqhamuka ka high education babe Dlamini nangaceni kwami naloqhamuka ke bo high school ngibabe Mhlanga nanuya bese ke sithola ke na head teacher loqhamuka ke primary kube ke ngibabe Nkutha kutabe seke kuba na director loqhamuka NCC babe Hlophe phelela lapho ke le board bese ke kuba na CEO.
The board of directors are expected to be in office for a period not exceeding 3 years. Reporting, I am Kiani Msibi, Mbabane.
The Honourable Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Savannah Masia, says the media has an important role to play in changing the image of the country. The minister was speaking during a tour of the Eswatini Observer.
The Honourable Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Savannah Masia, met the staff, management and staff of the Eswatini Observer during a tour where Eswatini Observer Managing Director Allen Mkonda highlighted some of the challenges faced by the newspaper.
As you meet this hardworking team here, Labasebenda with very scant resources, they are a dedicated team. You find them in the environment where they work every day. The nerve center, the newsroom. Every day, bafuna things about it for it. Every day, bafuna markets for what for it, and that's where we make the money. So, as they do their work, maybe we corner, maybe start one beside corner, perhaps as we get advertising revenue from the government system, kube corner, nanati less enough.
The Honourable Minister said media has a role to play in ensuring global recognition of the country.
Cannot change or upgrade or improve the image of the country without your participation. So you are a partner in crime in this situation. You're a partner in our development. You're a partner in our growth. Now, as a government, I would have loved for you to also be our partner in advising us about our image. There's also, from your perspective, a requirement to globalize us. I think we may run the risk of being too insular and too inward-looking. And that's not a good place to be. It's like living in a bubble. There's a whole world out there that's not frightening, that we can actually be a part of and still maintain Eswatini Betu and still maintain our specialness, but also bring it in so that we can be this first world. We're not going to be this world when we're just insular and not working with global partners.
The Eswatini Observer staff asked the Honourable Minister to look into the access of public documents and legislative frameworks that affect free reporting of local journalists. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkal Siwekoza, Babane.
And B.
In sports, national rugby team Sizeze has not moved in the world rankings. The team is still ranked 102 out of 112 nations in the world. South Africa's Springbok has regained top position after winning the 2023 Rugby World Cup in France. In other sports news, Eswatini women football is appealing for the support of women football since teams are struggling to honor their league matches due to financial constraints. That's all for now. Before I go, here's a reminder of our top stories this evening. The Prime Minister Rosat Dlamini encourages police officers to work with integrity. Minister of ICT Savannah Mazia today took a tour of the Eswatini Broadcasting and Information Services. Over 10 billion emalangeni has been disbursed by FinCorp to small and medium enterprises since its establishment. And with that, it's a wrap. Up next is the weather update from myself and the team. Until next time, take care.